Today's openings begin with Fort Garry Dark Ale, an English mild ale. They describe it as a chestnut-colored English mild ale that boasts caramel, coffee, and chocolate flavors with a balanced hop finish. This is a really nice one, and it's been one of my favorites for, over a decade probably. Happy to have one again. Yep, just as good as I remember it. So the first item in says right on it that it is 4-to-1 heat shrink with glue. And heat shrink with glue is typically intended for outdoor use where that glue inside it, I'm not seeing much, that glue inside it will bond to the wire and prevent water ingress. This does feel thicker and more heavy duty than what I'm used to for hot melt or for heat shrink, so maybe it is. Oh yeah, it looks like there's a thin layer of glue inside that. Okay, let's just see what happens when we shrink this down. In theory, with that glue inside, it'll be a hot melt type glue that should soften with the heat and shrink right down. I think you can see a little bit of that glue squeeze out around the shaft there, so that's exactly what I'm looking for. That will be good for making up cables for outdoor uses. 1 meter 4-to-1 heat shrink tube with glue. Heat shrinkable tubing, dual wall, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, and 20 millimeters. I got the 8 millimeter for a 1 meter. Currently, it is selling for $5.14. When I bought it, it was $3.40. Yeah, as always, use the title as a search term or click through. Maybe it'll be cheaper to your country. I don't know. Regardless, there is what it is. It claims to shrink 4-to-1, and I only shrunk it about 2 or 3-to-1 on that screwdriver shaft, but it looked like it was gripping pretty firmly, and you can see the glue inside it just like we saw. So there you go. Other than that, it's just heat shrink tubing, although the wall is thicker than the typical stuff. So this is definitely heavier duty than your usual stuff, which is, I guess, why it's demanding a little bit higher price. All right, next thing in, it does say on the back here, colored laser engraving marking paper for CO2 fiber UV laser. Okay. I don't have a CO2 laser, but I do definitely have a diode laser. Let's see if this is what they say it is, first of all, and then see what it's good for. So it looks like it's a few pieces in the package. Okay. And it comes with a convenient how-to-use guide. So it says it's suitable for ceramics, glass, crystal, stone tiles, and hard things like that. Not on metal or leathers, etc. Okay, so ceramic-based stuff, mineral-based stuff, right? It comes with a chart of speeds and feeds based on a 10-watt CO2 laser. Mine is, I think, a 20-watt diode laser, so I'll probably have to experiment a little bit, but that's a good place to start. And this step-by-step guide seems fairly detailed, so we'll have to give that a try in the future. Maybe customize myself a coffee mug, or perhaps another beer glass. 12 colors, carving paper compatible with CO2, fiber, or semiconductor UV laser marking engraving machine. Material ceramic glass stone. I got the 40 by 12 millimeter chunks, and there is total 100 pieces of those. So I probably should have gone for the, is there a full black sheet, gray? Yeah, I probably should have gone for that one, but I can experiment with smaller chunks and maybe put some lettering or logos or something on stuff. We'll see. Yeah, they have this stuff in multiple different colors, though I just got black just to start with because it's nice and basic. We'll experiment with this in the future. Yeah, there they go. They actually say that we can use diode lasers as well as CO2 or any other type. So, yeah, that should be interesting to play with. All right, next up we have something from my P.O. box. This says speaker parts. The last two times I got something that said speaker parts, it was electrolytic capacitors of various different sizes. Bag within a bag. Mysteries continue. What do we got? Is it? Oh, it's not more capacitors. What are you? It is a module of some kind. It is a relay module. So these are a relatively common relay module that often comes with Arduino kits and whatnot. It allows you to put in a low current, low voltage over here, like a milliamps capable from a microcontroller or something. There is a driver on there, which will allow the, what is the coil? The 12-volt coil of this thing to trigger and switch the relay. There's the relay contacts there, and you can switch allegedly up to 125 volts, 10 amps. I would never use one of these miniature relays for that, although it does have voltage tracking cutout there, so that's nice. But generally, I wouldn't trust these cheap import relays at higher voltages and higher currents. They're great for higher current DC stuff, though. If you wanted to control like 24 or 48 volts from your Arduino or microcontroller, that would be the perfect thing. I've got a few types of these already, and they are just really useful to have. Thank you to my anonymous donor. Well, the search that finds these and several similar ones is a relay module for Arduino 12 volts. There is the exact one we've got, and here are several other variants. But what I was calling a driver on there, I should correct myself. It is actually an optocoupler to completely isolate the relay drive from the low current, low voltage drive that you get from a microcontroller. As you can see, they can be had for, $3.50. Probably less if you can get them at auction. Maybe more if you're paying shipping, but regardless, they are a fairly straightforward device. And next in is something fairly heavy. Does it have any description on it? No, it's all covered up. If it did have, okay. In we go. It is wire. It is 3-conductor wire. It is 3-conductor 20 AWG wire. It is not shielded wire. It is just 3-conductor, red, black, and yellow. So presumably they're expecting power and signal or something like that. I was hoping that this would be a decent wire for using for just connecting things up and whatnot between projects and modules and stuff. A lot of cases I've been using this, which is fine enough. It's similar gauge. This was originally sold, I think, as servo wire or module wire or something like that. But if it's going to be something that's outdoors or in a little bit wetter environment, maybe this is a better option. Electronic audio wire 23456 8-core UL listed. Sure, really? I don't know. Sheath wire 12-volt electric cable for speaker LED strip, automotive outdoor lighting, etc., etc. Currently selling for $11.58. I paid $10.25 for it back when I bought it in late July, I think. Anyway, I got the 3-core, aka 3-conductor, 5 meters long of 20 AWG. Does it say what the insulation is? PVC. All right, so not super duper at really cold temperatures. Oh, is that a good name of a company for buying wire that you want to handle current? I don't like the idea of my wire catching fire, delightfully or not. It claims to be tinned copper, and other than that, it's just wire. And the last and largest thing in this time is something that was sent anonymously to my P.O. box. Customs declaration just says board, so it could be anything. Let us find out. Okay, it's something much smaller. A couple of boards, a couple of modules. They look both the same. Let's open this one. That looks like an infrared motion detector board. Huh. And the reason I could tell that is because it has this little lens pattern on the lens to scatter the beams, or not the beams, but the infrared signal across the little sensor there. So underneath there is the sensor that is doing 90% of the work. We have a chip there, which is probably an op amp, a couple of capacitors, 3-terminal device there, probably a voltage regulator, and then just a bunch of little capacitors and resistors. Let's just double check me on those guesses. Oh, there's nothing on there. Okay, well, I can say that it's an op amp and nobody can prove me wrong. But this one that I said is a regulator is a 7133-1. And that is, in fact, a low dropout 30 milliamp regulator, specifically a 3.3 volt version. Ha! Guess correct. Anyway, my anonymous donor sent me 2 of these little passive infrared motion detection modules. Thank you very much for that. Let's go and see what we can find for a listing for these, and put a link down below for you. So the search term is SR505 Mini PIR, passive infrared. That SR505 was screen printed right under the board. Looks like they're nice and cheap, $1.27 each. Probably cheaper per if you buy a multi-pack of them. Let's see what we can find down here. Actually, they seem to be cheaper to buy one at a time once you calculate the shipping in. Okay, weird. Regardless, there's what one of the sellers tells you about them. You can run them on 4.5 up to 20 volts because they've got a regulator built onto them. They only take 60 microamps when they're not doing anything. 3.3 volt logic level output, sure. Delay time default is 8 seconds. You can modify that by changing some of those teeny little resistors on the board, but it doesn't tell you exactly which one. Good for about 3 meters at 100 degrees angle. Yeah, very standard little device, but much smaller than the ones that often come with the Arduino kits and the ones that you commonly see. So these will be a good addition to the collection. And there is the contents of today's Mailbag Monday haul. Quite the random variety, although these two would seem to go together. The outdoor rated heat, well, not outdoor rated, but the glue-lined heat shrink and the jacketed cable. So that can work together for future projects and just generally in stock. This laser marking paper, I hadn't heard of it before. I just stumbled across it when I was looking around on AliExpress, and I thought it might be interesting because the laser that I've got doesn't do very well on clear stuff, so it might be kind of fun to see if I can mark up some other glasses. This one, as you can see, came from the factory with marking on it, and that feels very much like it's laser etched in there. So that should be an interesting experiment. And then we have the things that were sent by anonymous donors. We have this relay module, which is slightly different than the ones that I already have, so that, again, is good to add some variety to my collection, or should I say accumulation of materials. And then a couple of these little passive infrared sensors, which are, again, much smaller than the ones that I've seen before and the ones that I've got. So those could be neat to add to the collection as well. You never know when you're going to need different modules for projects. And as I've said before, a lot of the times when I'm doing a project, I want to know that I've got everything I need kicking around the place. I don't want to have to wait for shipping and whatnot. And this stuff takes, anywhere from a few weeks to a few months, or because the Canadian Post Office is currently on strike, random unknown amount of time. Speaking of that, don't worry, the mailbags will keep happening, because I've got probably about 6 more videos worth of mailbag stuff stacked up off to the side way over there. So as long as they are finished their strike before Christmas and get themselves a good deal and that everybody can live with, then it's not going to impact the Mailbag Monday videos. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks to the anonymous donors, to the YouTube channel members, to the Patreons who all contribute to the to the running of this YouTube channel, and of course to the filling of my beer fridge. Always appreciate it. Questions or comments down below as usual. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.